Hello and welcome. This is another video from the Insta360 1x2 test ride on my way up to Camp BoB. So if you were here for the first one, welcome back. Once again, I'm trying the Insta360, trying to find the right place for it on the bike and also get my head around how to use it and how to use the software. So this is just a learning experience for me, a test. If it's useful to you, then fair enough. So this is me leaving home. Just got on the A66 in Stockton, but I won't be on it for long. I'm coming straight off it and trying the pan so I can get some idea of what's happening. That was just a quick 360 to see how it looks. Yeah, I've changed the position of the camera on the bike. It's lowered down and closer to the handguard in a position where it can get some protection. It's me just getting out of Stockton towards Sedgefield. Don't like following builders' wagons, so I decided to get past it. I'm still in the running in period, so I have to keep it in 5th gear to about 50 miles an hour, 80k 50 miles an hour, which is fine, but the bike seems to want to pull up to 60 all the time. I'm having to watch it. It creeps up. Again, I just thought I'd try my hand at setting the shots up. So I was going back to myself, and then I thought I'd try a tracking shot. So at any minute there's a car going to go past and the camera's going to track it back forward again. And there you go. I've got to say I'm having some issues with getting my head round the little markers you use in the software to make the clips. You insert a little mark for a start and a stop, and at that point you can set it away. This is I'm trying panning right and then have it come back forward again. A bit like you would get, the effect you would get if you were looking right and then to see if anything's coming, then looking back forward, that type of thing. That was me just crossing the M1, the short section of dual carriageway here, then it goes down to single carriageway, and traffic was building up, and at first I couldn't see why, but I thought, I'm sat behind this car, then I suddenly remembered I'm not in the car anymore, I'm on a motorcycle, so we can sneak past. This little Fiat seemed to see me coming and then just hog out towards hog the road over towards the white line for some reason. That's him trying to close the gap in front of him. Didn't close it enough. And as you can see, it was a tractor holding everybody up. I don't think you can quite make it out here, but I pulled in because I could see something coming in the distance. Thought, hey, my skills aren't there yet, let's wait for a bigger gap and then go for it. Bye bye, Mr. Tractor. Yeah, so I'm finding the Insta360 a nice piece of kit. Something I learnt on this test ride is I can quickly fill up the memory card. This is just past Binchester. There's a steep bank, I think it's a 19%, but there's as you're going down there's a right turn, a little bit of a hairpin at the bottom. What makes it interesting, shall we say, is just as it bears right, it drops away again. And it doesn't really show it on the video here, and it's more noticeable on the way back when you're riding, because it suddenly becomes very steep about now, and it's noticeable because it's the tightest end where that white car is. Yeah, so just as you turn right, it drops again. But yeah, it's what makes life interesting. We're about to cross a bridge here, and I thought I'd just try and get a panning shot to the right, show you the bit of the water, and back forward, and to be honest, there was no need for the panning shot or this left panning shot. I'm just trying to get my head around how to use the clips, how to make these shots, because sometimes if you don't put the right markers down, it'll pan, but when it comes back it won't come back to the right place. It'll be too far left or too far right. I'm just coming into Wellington. Steep little bank on the approach, and didn't bother using anything through Wellington Village because it's just a ride through a high street. This is the track leading down to the farm track that leads down to camp. It's had some damage recently. Something big and heavy's been down here, but there's been some work going on at the motocross site, which also shares this track. I think they might have had some plant down here to tune it up. Or they could have had a meet. When they have a big motocross meet, there's lots of big race vans come down here. There you go, a little panning shot. And look, an old man on a bike. These built-in tinted visors are amazing, coming from a generation that didn't have such things. Yeah, game changer. Oh, I think we're going about swing round now, because I can't go any further until I open the gate. Through the gate, along the track, turn right, straight up, and there's the wood that I'm going to spend the night in. It's Camp BoB. And again, I'm going to spare you the pains of watching me get on and off the bike after I open the gate. So with the magic of television, we're through. This is the nervous bit for me, because I'm never ridden off-road before. Now, although to some people this isn't off-road, it's more off-road than I've ever done in the past. And what surprised me, just driving into the trees now, and it threw me for a while, the path seemed narrower, and it's the sudden upgrowth of all the greenery. The trail looked narrower, and it was just in my head, because obviously the trail hasn't changed size. It was just, it appeared closer in as the trees are filling out and the undergrowth is growing. And I cocked up this little approach to this S-bend here. There's just a sharp left, sharp right. But I got my approach wrong again, it threw me, so took my time. The last time I rushed it when the last time I rushed it after getting the approach wrong, I ended up in a ditch. Didn't want to do that again. Yeah, it looked really close down here for some reason on my way in. Yeah, nature's playing tricks with this old man and his stupid mind. But camp's looking nice. A bit overgrown in places. Yeah, I'll take my time over that little bridge across the ditch, make sure it was right. And again here, trying to get my approach right, so I can just turn the bike, because I can do it in one. If I'm in the right place when I start, it'll just turn round, cross this little shallow ditch, and get it parked up. There you go, Bryn. Camp's looking nice. And there's an old man, relieved. He's in without falling off.
And we're in.
Right, so now I had a night in camp. This is an old photograph from a month or two ago, but it shows the people I was with last night. Had a good time. Sat around the fire, talked rubbish, had a couple of drinks and a cigar. And this is me leaving camp the next morning. It's mid-morning, getting on to lunchtime. It was time to pack my things and go back out. And on the right there you can see Ian packing his gear away.
See you, Ian.
Ryan and Russ had already gone out to the car. They were packed up and they were leaving. When I got to the gate they were just setting off. So I followed them and let Ryan off the gates. Generous of me that. But it saved my old arthritic bones getting on and off the bike. And out into the sunshine. And up the farm track, back to the main road. In the wetter months your bike gets covered in mud. In the drier months there's lots of loose gravel about on the surface. And there I am, concentrating. And I spy that big pothole coming up. I thought, ooh, best stand up for these. That's something new for me, being off-road and on gravel tracks. And there we go, we're back on the tarmac now. Quick ride through the village of Willington. And out the other side. Van down the bank and across the river. On the left here there's a small sewage plant which was quite ripe this morning as I rode past it. I've got to say that place smells worse than the camp toilets, which don't really smell at all, but have an odour, but not a sewage odour, if you know what I mean. Yeah. I'm not going to say it smells of roses, but it's not an offensive odour. There we go, across the river. And thinking ahead now, I've got a sharp left-hander coming up. I want to be in the right gear, otherwise I'm going to cock it up like I did last time. Spin it round. That's me concentrating. And we're through, up the hill. And steady away now back home. So that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll take you along when I do my first camp trip. Ta-ra.